Welcome to another inspiring episode of Visionary Ventures. Today we're joined by Mark, a former rugby league player and jiu-jitsu black belt who turned professional tragedy into triumph. At 63, Mark isn't just about physical strengths, he's a beacon of resilience, having overcome severe PTSD to establish the elderpreneur.com, a platform dedicated to guiding mature individuals in starting their online entrepreneurial journey. Join us as we explore Mark's incredible story of recovery, resilience, and entrepreneurial spirit. First of all, thank you so much, Mark, for being here. It's a pleasure to host you on Vision Adventures.
It's an absolute honour to be on the show with you this morning, Carl. And thanks so much for having me and listening to what I hope is going to be a really, really intriguing and inspiring story for your listeners.
It will be for sure. So, starting with a bit of history. Mark, can you share with us the mental challenges you faced following your attack and how you manage your PTSD?
Yeah, certainly. Just quick introduction. As you say, I'm 63 years old. I'm married to Rachel. We've been married for 23 years now. We've got three kids and we've got three grandchildren, two of which are with us today because it's school holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was around, in my early teens, way back in the 70s. I was, mid 70s. I was like 15 years old. At the time over in England, there was a lot of stuff going on, particularly with the football matches or the soccer matches. There was a lot of, should we say, hooliganism and violence. I think to a certain extent, I was probably going down that road of getting involved in the wrong sort of people and doing the wrong things. When I was 14 and a half, 15 at school, I played rugby league, my first rugby league game for the school rugby team, and loved the game. After my first game, I got I got selected for Oldham Town team trials, so I went there, I got selected for Oldham Town team. Then I ended up playing for a local amateur club for around about 20 years, until I think I retired when I was 35. After retirement from rugby, because I just couldn't do it anymore, the hits were getting harder and the running
It's
across the
tiring
pitch.
as well.
Sorry? Yeah.
It's tiring as well, yeah.
Yeah. The running across the pitch was getting more laborious. So I decided to retire and I hung around for 2 or 3 years, but I was missing something. So, I'd been used to training 3-4 nights a week for 20 years. So I decided I'd take up jujitsu, which I went to a local jiu-jitsu club and I did the classic what most people do. I stood outside the door of the dojo for about 10 minutes, trying to talk myself out of actually going in. What you doing, you idiot? You're too old. I was 38 at the time. You're too old for this. Go home and watch some TV. But I eventually talked myself out of that and went in and started training. After a couple of weeks, I decided I was going to give it a shot. So I said to the club sensei, I want to do this. Can I have one of them training things, them training uniform things? They said, "Oh, a gi." I said, "Yes, please, a gi." But I don't like the white ones because there was people training in blue tops and there was people training in white tops. I said, "I want one of them blue ones." And they said, "Well, you can't have a blue one because them are for black belts." And this was the first time that I actually realised how important goal setting and visualisation is. Because I said there and then on the spot, I'm already a black belt. I just haven't done the gradings yet. So in my mind, I was already a black belt. Anyway, long story short, it's a 4-year program from red belt to black belt is 4 years, which I did in 2 years, 8 months, because I wanted to be a black belt so bad.
That's an interesting journey, I believe, yeah. And I know that you managed a lot of stuff and you've been attacked. We're going to get into the details of all of this,
Yeah.
but I'm interested to know about what mental challenges you faced back then and how did you overcome your PTSD on your own?
PTSD comes later. How I got in, what happened with that was, we'll jump right into that, was this is jumping forward now. way forward to about
Yes.
2016 it was,
Mm-hmm.
2016, February.
Okay.
Me and my wife and my eldest daughter, we'd gone to a 60th birthday party of a friend of ours. And we left our youngest daughter, Shannon, at home. She was 14. We'd left her at home so she could have a bit of a pizza and scary movie night with the girlfriends. Now, why young girls want to watch scary movies is beyond me. I just don't understand that. So, what happened though in the meanwhile was that one of the girls who was there phoned a boyfriend who phoned his mates, and it ended up they just all ransacked the house. They just bailed into the house and ransacked it. We didn't know this at the time. I had a collection of malt whiskies, single malt whiskies. He had about 12 bottles, and so they came in the house. They trashed the house. They stole all the whiskey. They stole all the wine. They even threw cornflakes over the kitchen floor, for goodness sake. I mean, how pathetic is that? They
Oh
smashed
God.
doors. So I didn't know any of this was going on. So we came home. We came home that we got home about 12 o'clock ish, and as we came down the hill, there was about 20 or 30 guys on our driveway milling about. So I turned around to it and said, "What's going on here?" And then a taxi pulled up outside the drive. I got out and I said to the taxi driver, "Do me a favour, can you phone the police? There's something going on here." So I got out of the taxi and said, "Like, what's going on here?" As I took a stepped onto the driveway, I found myself on the floor. I don't know how I got there. I thought, I must have stumbled. So I started picking myself up and my head was hurting. So I touched my head, it was covered in blood. So I thought, this is strange. So I stood up and I turned around to see what had happened. I'm back on the floor, thinking,
So they kept on attacking you on your
no,
driveway.
I didn't realise at the time, because when I stood up the second time and turned again to see what happened again, one of the guys was actually swinging a bottle in a big arc to the side of my head. So
Oh.
the first one that I'd come on, as I stepped on the drive initially and walked past this guy, he'd hit me with a bottle from behind, which
Were
had
you
come down the.
practicing jujitsu back then?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But he hit
Okay.
me with a bottle and it came down right across my face, right
Oh.
across my nose, cut my head here, smashed my nose. As I turned around to confront him, his mate from behind hit me on the back of the head with a bottle. Full blown blow. As I stood up to turn round, he was swinging the bottle again in a big arc to hit me on the side of the head, which I'm convinced it would have killed me. That would have been the end of me if that had hit. So
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
when instinct kicked in. Everything kicked in. 20 years of rugby, jujitsu. I brought a block up and I blocked his arm with the bottle, grabbed his arm, and then I hit him. And it was like best described as a perfect storm of a punch. It really
Yeah.
was. It really was. And
After getting hit on the head various times and you're losing blood, I believe even your energy and all the training in the world cannot really uh, get you the full power and the concentration that is needed. And what a tough position to be at.
it,
So what
it
did you
was
do,
just
Mark? What happened after it?
it was just pure instinct. It was just, the strike was pure
Yeah,
instinct. I had to
it's a
do something.
survival
Otherwise,
instinct, exactly.
I was actually going to die on the drive. If they'd have hit me again with the bottle, I'd have been out of it. So I hit this guy. It was the perfect punch. It was really, really, really. It was incredible, that, unbeknownst to me, was going to be the source of my PTSD. Not the incident, but that one punch. Because everyone backed off then, and at that stage, I just went berserk. I just turned into a monster. I just really just lost it. If it moved, I hit it. I just really attacked. I just went for everything I could get my hands on. I was even chasing them down the road when they run off. My wife came running after me and grabbed me on the shoulder, and I spun round ready to hit her. And she shouted, "Mark, Mark, Mark," last second. So long story is, I went to hospital, got patched up, absolutely no concussion, nothing wrong with my head whatsoever apart from some major bumps on it. I looked like a Ferengi, to be honest, off Star Trek. I had them two big bumps in my head. So they kept me in overnight and sent me home in the morning after. Absolutely nothing wrong, no damage or anything. Full CAT scan, full 360-degree scan. All that was wrong was my nose was smashed. No bleeds on the brain, nothing, which was unusual, which was they couldn't figure out why they weren't actually operating on me that night.
And what happened to the guys who attacked you and that you punched?
Insufficient evidence. They weren't even
So,
prosecuted.
not
Insufficient evidence.
okay. So,
Even
not
though
even detained, nothing happened to them.
no,
They're still out there.
two of them were positively picked out of a lineup by two independent people, but absolutely nothing happened to them. Insufficient evidence to prosecute. It's,
That's a shame.
the British justice system is crazy. It really is.
It is all over the world.
Yeah. It's been
Injustice is currently overruling everything in the whole entire world.
yeah, it's coming to somewhat when the perpetrators have more rights than the victims to a certain extent. And
Exactly.
I thought about retributing revenge, retribution, but you know what? What's the point? What would it achieve? Would it make me feel any better? I don't think so. It'd make me one of them. If I'd have gone out and I thought about it for a long, long time. I dreamt about bumping into these two guys, the two guys with the bottles, and what I'm going to do to them, and one thing or another. I did. It's natural. And
But you were
but
defending yourself.
yeah, but the thing is, that was the problem because as the physical injuries settled down, the mental injuries started coming up and up and up and up, and they grew and grew and grew, and eventually everything just shut down. I just literally shut down. My body, my mind, everything shut down. I had my own business at the time, repairing HP design jets, and I lost that. I almost lost my wife. We were on the verge of losing our house, our home. No bills were being paid, nothing, because I just didn't care. I was just
Wow.
sat in a corner with my own self pity going through this.
What was your mental state back then? Like it was just letting everything go, like you didn't want to defend anything anymore or anyone?
No, I just totally everything that I was, everything that I believed in, changed that night. Everything, my whole persona, I changed into something else. I was always a hard worker. I was always a good provider. I was always, all the cliches. But from that point on, I just literally became a completely different person. I didn't care about anything. I didn't go to work. I didn't do this. And even having a
Wow.
shower in the morning was a task. You know, personal hygiene was just a chore. So I just totally lost it. I went down and I had flashbacks. I'd have anxiety attacks. I'd just for no reason I'd just start screaming or I'd start lashing out at things. I changed around from being what I would call a nice guy. I mean, I played rugby league, but that was all controlled aggression.
Exactly.
I if
And
somebody
then
said
you
something,
surrendered to
yeah,
life, to
yeah,
everything. That's it. You
yeah,
raised your flag. I'm out.
yeah, yeah. There was only one way out for me, and I very nearly took that on about 4 occasions,
Then what
and that
happened,
was
Mark? I'm interested to know how you were able to reshift the scenarios.
what happened was it was a couple of things. 2023, I spent literally most of 2023, particularly the back half of 2023, trying not to take my own life, not wanting to take my own life, but trying not to, fighting against that. I went to the doctors in 2024. Excuse me a minute. I went to the doctors in 2024. Sorry about that. Start of January. And it was for something totally unrelated. I walked into the doctor's surgery and there was myself and my wife, Rachel, and then there was the doctor, a young female doctor, and a young female doctor and their assistant who was a lady as well. And I walked in. We did all the niceties. Hi, Doc, how you doing? Thanks for seeing me, blah, blah. Hi, Mark. Good to see you again. How are things? Boom. Fell apart. Quite literally fell apart. I literally just, everything that happened over the last 6 years just came flooding out. The suicide attempts, how I'd destroyed everything, how I'd created this situation, where I'd been, this dark, dark, dark place I'd been in. It all just came flooding out and I woke up, and it's best to describe it, I woke up in a pool of tears and snot on the floor of the doctor's surgery, sat on the floor. I had a blood pressure thing around my arm. I had a heart rate monitor on my finger, but I had no idea what had happened. And I just blurted it all out. Everything came out. Everything. That was like cleaning a cut that had gone septic. All the badness, all the goo, like, everything had come out. And from that point on, I got
So this
home.
was your release point where
Yeah,
you let it all out, finally.
yeah. It was like a balloon being overinflated and finally bursting.
Hmm.
It all had to come out. I'd kept it all in. I've kept it all inside. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell Rachel how I was, and I didn't tell Rachel that I was, that I had the suicide attempts or wanting to end it all or anything like that. Nobody knew. I had this facade that of semi-cool, although she knew something was wrong. And she was constantly probing, saying, "No, what's up there? What's up?" And I wouldn't tell her. I said, "Well, just leave me alone. There's nothing wrong."
So
So,
at what age,
yeah,
Mark, you started reworking on your mental resilience and you took back your life within, yeah, like you grabbed it and you decided like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to lift myself up.
yeah. That was this year. That was January this year. There comes a point in life where you either succumb to the dark thoughts, which a
Hmm.
lot of people do, unfortunately, or something triggers a recovery. And the trigger for me was the embarrassment, the shame, the guilt of what I've done, or the embarrassment, the shame of falling apart. I'm an ex-rugby league player, jiu-jitsu black belt, 6 foot tall, pretty big guy, sat on the floor, wailing like a baby in front of three women. You can't get much lower than that in your
Whoa,
life, but
that's tough. Oh yeah. Yeah.
it was a
I'm
blessing.
picturing you in my mind. Like I'm creating the scene in my mind. Yeah. Yeah.
It don't bear thinking about, does it?
Exactly.
It-
A- And from January onwards, what did you do? What mental practices are you doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? How are
there's
you
there's a
doing
lot.
it?
There's a lot of them. The first thing I had to do was trying to identify what was going on in my life, what was happening, what was wrong. I booked to go on therapy, which I'm now 2.5 months into therapy now, and that was trying to recreate the situation, what led up to it, why we did it, and what happened, and why the PTSD developed. Now the funny thing is, I spoke to a guy who was a kung fu master, but also a mindset coach. I only spoke to him for an hour. It was a free consultation, and we analysed it, and it's come down to, and I can now pinpoint the exact moment where, which was the start of the development of the PTSD. Since I've discussed this with my therapist, we've taken it a step further, and we now understand why I developed the PTSD. It wasn't about the attack. The attack was irrelevant. It was my actions. It was what I did,
Mhm.
because my values, as I was saying earlier, playing rugby, it was always controlled aggression. The people on the pitch were all volunteers. The guy I was opposing, he volunteered to be opposed me as I did him. If we got hurt, we got hurt. It didn't matter because we were there voluntary. But my values was that aggression. If you're in a situation where you need to use something like a martial art, it should be controlled. You need to control it. You need to have self control and only use sufficient violence, so to speak, or aggression. Now, the punch that I threw was totally beyond them boundaries. Yeah, we can take into account I just been smacked on the head twice. I was about to be smacked on the head a third time. I was being punched and kicked from a whole host of people. But still, I viewed myself, as not doing what I should have done. I'd gone beyond my own self-imposed boundaries, and that's what caused the problem. That was
We're
what I had
gonna
to
get
do.
into values, philosophical beliefs, and spirituality in a bit.
Yeah,
But before we continue, I would also like to just to recap on the mental aspects because
yeah,
in this segment we really focused on it. And thank you for sharing all the details of this backstory, basically, and what happened, what triggered it, and how did you really overcome it since January of 2024. And You said in the beginning that you do a lot of visualization, you're focusing on creating the right mindset, and you had
Yeah,
an encounter with a therapist and mindset coach as well. So, all of these aspects are currently also helping you to get back on your feet and move forward, right? Any
yeah,
other aspects that would you like to add on the mental work?
yeah. I decided I had to do something because of the situation I created with the finances and everything, losing my business. I had to do something else. I was coming up to 63 years old. It was like January. I was 63 in the March. So I really wasn't capable of or acceptable to go out and get a job. Nobody wants to employ 63-year-olds. So I had to do something myself. So I went online to create an online business. One of the reasons why I did it was two. That was two reasons. One, I needed to improve my money situation, and two, I needed something. I needed a focus to take my mind off everything. I was lucky. I found a mentor who's been working with me ever since January. One of the things I've learned to do is visualization of where you want to be, not where you are. Yeah, everybody is at a point in their life, wherever they are in life now. That is the point they're at. They can't change it. They've arrived there because of past experiences that have created past beliefs, that have created their beliefs about themselves, the self-respect and all that. My self-respect at the time was pretty low. It was at the bottom of the Marciana Trench or something like that. So I had to work on that. I had to work on my self-image. When you look at some of my earlier posts on Facebook and things like on social media, they're all of pictures, stock images, cars, cartoons, other people, mountains. There's no images of me because I wouldn't put my face on social. I would never have dreamed of doing a video. I would never have dreamed of being on a podcast like I am today.
Telling your story, sharing it with the public, being vulnerable and being out there.
Yeah, yeah. Vulnerable was. It's hard to say that. After, and please forgive me for this, but after viewing yourself as an alpha male, that a man's man that does these things, he plays rugby, I play rugby, I'm dead tough, I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt, I'm dead tough, I'm done this, and then to suddenly find that you're not, to suddenly find that you are vulnerable, you can be hurt.
It
You
crashed
can.
your ego and self esteem.
Oh, my ego did well. I haven't seen my ego for weeks, for years now. It's gone. Yeah, and self-esteem, and all of a sudden, all your belief system is just wrecked, taken away from you within seconds. So I had to rebuild all that. What I did, and what I call it is the edit the video. So everybody has these videos that they play in their mind of incidents that happened. And let's face it, whenever something happens, like something happens between people, there's always three stories emerge. There's what you think happened, there's what they think happened, and there's what actually happened.
Exactly.
So that's the three stories, and there's always three stories. You're always going to get three stories. So what I had to do was I had to go back and I had to start, and this was so difficult. And this is a process I went through with the therapist.
And
I
this
had to
is
then
what
start.
they call rewiring your brain and
Yeah,
changing scenarios and working on the triggers and your self image and how
yeah,
you see things. That is
exactly.
real hard work, Mark.
Yeah,
Really. Kudos
it's
on
not.
that.
It was terrifying, to be honest, because I didn't want to go there. I did not want to face that incident again. I did not. My mind had taken me back there because it was just stuck. It was like a blockage in the pipework. It's like if, I imagine my mind now as a factory. So information comes in here and it gets processed and then it comes out again. It gets processed, stored away. So you got the raw materials coming in, which is the information, your surroundings, your incidents. All that then is processed by your brain and it's processed into something that's manageable and understandable, and it's stored away in the filing cabinets or on the hard drive. But with me, what
Exactly.
had happened was stuff had come in, the raw material had come in, but part of the machinery that does the processing had broken down. So all
There
that
was a
raw
bug
material is
in
just
the
stuck.
computer.
Yeah, yeah. So all that, it's not being processed or stored. So it's just reliving, and just going back to that one incident. And that one incident then is being blown out of proportion. What was the pretend, it was a bad incident, but I'm not going to belittle it. But what was an incident now is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this thing was growing in my mind, and it was just that was the problem. So what I've learned to do now is that I can relive the incident. I can vision. I can even start from being at the bar in the pub where we were initially, where we were having the party, ordering drinks, taking drinks over to my wife and daughter and my mum who was with us at the time, and then getting in a taxi, coming home, coming down the driveway, and thinking, what should I have done differently? And then played all the scenarios. We know the outcome, but what happens if this had been done differently? What happens if that had been differently? So then I've started building on my experiences, my potential
Then,
outcomes.
what is the best outcome that you figured that you should have done back then? What is the ultimate scenario?
What I teach my students, because as well as being
I know we're drifting a bit away from the podcast questions and all of that, but excuse me, but the story is very compelling, and really, I would like to understand where you are at currently.
what I should have done differently is I'm also a jiu-jitsu instructor. I have my own club. I teach about 40 students on a weekly basis. What I teach them, whenever they get in a situation, I say, whenever you get in a situation where you feel threatened, what you should do is stop, think, step back, and assimilate the situation. Check what's going on. See who the
Mhm.
potential flashpoints are. That's what I should have done when I got out the taxi. I
So
didn't.
in your case, now you're standing back on that driveway. You took a step back, you assessed the situation. What is the best course of action that Mark Coope back in that day should have done?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, if I had stepped back, I would have seen, for one, I would have seen the two, three perpetrators, the two ringleaders of the group. I would have seen that they had weapons. I wouldn't, for one, I wouldn't have turned my back on them. I'd have probably backed off. I may have even waited for the police to arrive. What I wouldn't have done was walk straight into them, unknown, unbeknownst, and unprepared. So I would have
Mhm.
seen if I'd have let the guy with the bottle come to me, the first one on one, I'd have taken him straight out. It wouldn't have been an issue. I
Mhm.
would have probably even taken the second one out. It wouldn't have been an issue. Them are your two ringleaders. Nobody else is going to fight after that. They're all going to back off. They're all going to think,
Yeah.
what did he just do to them two? All it needed was me being logical, being sensible, and doing what I teach my students, which I didn't do.
Perfect scenario. To conclude this segment, which is amazing, and I believe that everyone that is listening took away a lot of valuable information from this and lesson from this amazing story and event that happened with you, Mark. Just to conclude it in one sentence. So, back on, in that day, you were thinking that you are untouchable, unbreakable. You walked into that situation, and it happened the way it happened, and it shook you to your core. It broke you down, and currently, at 63 years old, you are rebuilding yourself and your life from scratch.
Yeah, that's just about the top and bottom of it. um, I would say never, ever, ever go into anything without examining all the possibilities first. And all the possibilities first can be done in a very, very quick space of time. Your mind speeds up and you can sort something out, particularly in a potential violent situation. Always have an exit, always have a plan B, but assess before you act. Don't act before you assess, which is exactly what I did.
Thank you for that, Mark. And moving on to the physical health aspect. So, how much physical exercises and health and wellness plays a huge role in the current days of Mark Coope in his recovery and new journey?
Well, yeah, one of the things that happened when I was on the exile, so to speak, is that I took to comfort eating. I had nothing
Hmm.
else, so I just ate and ate and ate. And if it moved, I ate. If it didn't move for long enough, I ate it. I piled on the weight, absolutely piled the weight on it. It was like unbelievable. I mean, the weight ballooned. But then again, I was doing nothing, and I was just eating all the time. My current regime is, unfortunately, because of my rugby days, I do need two knee replacements. My knees are absolutely totally shot. So my exercise is limited. I coach 3 times a week,
Hmm.
which, as well as building the online business, that is what I call my escape from the online business. I can go. I'm in the comfort zone. I've got my own
We're
club.
gonna get into the business aspect in a
Okay,
few, yeah, and we're gonna know
so
all about it.
yeah, I coach. I do obviously part of the training coaching
So,
regime
so
is
minding your
strength.
food, healthy eating, moving a bit. What are you doing?
I now now
Yeah,
I
now.
I'm literally I've started. I struggled with my weight all year, but now I've started getting back into shape. I've cut down on what I eat. I've cut out all the good things. I've stopped drinking. Stopped
That's a
drinking.
difficult one.
Yeah, I almost did sober October with the exception of a bottle of wine in October. But don't tell people I was drinking wine, will you?
Cheese.
So I haven't had a beer all
Hmm.
October. I've cut out all the chips or fries as you call them. I basically started just eating meat and salad or meat and veg.
High
And in
protein diet,
October,
a lot of veggies and fibers.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Perfect. What
So
about
in
physical exercises?
I do the exercise. I do all the stretching exercises with the students at the jujitsu because I want to try and keep myself supple. Funnily enough, although I'm overweight, I can actually bend over and touch me up, put pounds of my hands on the floor. So I am really still quite flexible. Um, Prior to training now, prior to taking the class, I'll spend 10-15 minutes with the MMA club just doing boxing, just doing punching a bag or kicks. So
And does
I'm
this
not doing a great
activity
deal.
and active routine keep you up and make you feel better about yourself and gives you this drive to move forward?
Yeah, I'm feeling better about myself because I managed in this month. I managed to get my BMI down by 3 points.
Nice.
So that I feel good about that. I feel good. I feel good now that I'm being proactive. I'm doing something positive for myself. For I generally feel better. I'm walking a bit better. I just feel a bit taller. I feel more connected to myself again now. I'm starting to come back to the person I was and I want to be. So instead of disliking myself, you're overweight, you're lazy, you're this and you're that, which is what was going, you know, and then you get depressed and go and get a packet of chocolate biscuits. Now it's like you're doing good, buddy, you're doing good. Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be in 6 months? Just think in 6 months when you've got a lot more weight off, and just think about the things we can do again. So I've started being positive to myself now again, visualizing where I'm going to be, not where I am now. Yeah, it's hard work. Everyone who's been overweight and everyone who's been on a diet. No, it's not easy because you get habits. At the end of the day, eating food is just a habit. It's a good habit, but the way you eat and what you eat is just what you decide. So
And
I've
we
now,
tend to overconsume in
yeah,
general. As
absolutely,
humans, we eat a lot.
yeah.
Unnecessary stuff that our bodies doesn't really need or require. Yeah.
So I'm
So
quite happy now just to have a bowl of salad rather than whereas before I
ex-
would have had a bag of
exactly.
chips. A bag of,
And I'm really happy and content that you found your way out and you really helped yourself to stand up on your feet again and be the Mark Coop that is now living one of his best. eras and parts of life. Moving a bit, Mark, towards the spirituality and philosophical beliefs. So you were talking a lot about values, about a belief system, and all of that. Can you tell us throughout your journey, how have your spiritual beliefs or practices evolved?
How do you mean? When you say spiritualist, do you mean from a religious point of view,
Any
or
point of view
just
that you wish.
just my point?
Values, spiritual beliefs, philosophical. You can believe
My
in God, you cannot, whatever you want.
my belief system was always going to be that. Has always been that we're all here together. Everyone on the planet is part of the same race. We're not a different race. We're all just part of the human race, and we're all. And again, it comes back to the jiu-jitsu. In my younger days, I had views about race, shall we say?
Mhm.
Let's be honest. I did have shades of racism. I think we all do, but I did, and I'll admit that.
Everyone does.
When I started my jiu-jitsu club, I had a lot of people from different races. I had just white people, brown people, Muslims, Christians, and we all started integrating. We all started working together. As I got to know people and know their beliefs and their belief systems, my view started changing because what I found, one example is this. One Saturday, we used to have a seating area in the dojo. One Saturday morning, there was about 11 women sat around the corner. There was Indians, there was Pakistanis, there was Bangladeshis, there was my wife. There was all sorts. And they were all sat around a big round table, having a coffee, bitching about their husbands. And I
Exactly, yeah.
thought, no matter where people come from, no matter what the views are, no matter what the religious views are, no matter what the political views are, it all comes down to women always bitch about their husbands. So there's no change. There's no difference. They're all the same. Everybody's the same. And so that was a big shift. That was a big shift in mindset for me once I started understanding people. During my downtime, I questioned everything. I've never been a religious person. I've always been a evolutionist, should we say. I've never believed in God. I've never believed anything like that. I admire people that do. I admire people who have faith in such a thing. Good on them. If they can go on faith and believe in something like that so strongly, then they have got some major plus points for me. But for me, it's not. I look the other way. But I did
And
question everything.
and after your incident and after your recovery phase, so January onwards, did something change in there?
Everything, everything changed. My entire outlook to life changed. I mean, one part I missed out. When you stood on a table with a rope around your neck and you're just one step away and you don't take that step, that's all I were. I was one step away. And you don't take that step, you then question, why did you not take that step? Why didn't I take it? I don't know. And I've run this scenario through my mind on numerous occasions. Why didn't I take that step? Did I not take that step because some deep down instinct of survival kicked in, or did I not take that step because someone intervened externally? I don't know. My belief is it was my instinct that kicked in, my survival instinct that actually came to the fore. But was it? There's food for thought.
Exactly.
I,
And
I
I hope that you're gonna get the answer to that question, and you're gonna figure out the best outcome. And yeah, moving a bit towards marketing aspects and strategies, Mark, tell us a bit about what are your marketing strategies to market yourself, your platform, your website, and your offering. What are you currently doing?
okay. Well, one of my big strategies is I do a lot of posts and engagement on Facebook, on social media. I've been talking to my mentor, and I thought, well, we need to be omnipresent. But then my belief is being omnipresent is brilliant because, but can people really manage every social media platform? So we decided just to focus on two: Facebook, and YouTube. So my strategies are that I do a lot of engagement on Facebook. I have my own Facebook profile and also a Facebook page. I'm in the process of creating a Facebook community. It's not quite ready yet, but it will be. On YouTube, I do a lot of. I've just started. There's a lot of podcasts on there that I've been on. There's also I use that for storing all my videos, and I'm now starting doing some small 10, 15-minute training courses on there just for people to jump on and check out. Just provide value for people. I believe that everything you should do should be of value, and that it's better to give something away of value that solves a problem for somebody than to charge them constantly for it. Because, marketing is about giving samples away, giving people what they need and what they want to help them overcome their problem. So I do a lot of that. And go on, sorry. So we're just moving now. We're just building a strategy now to move the business or the online business to the next step. I
I
will be
love that.
shortly having a
Who's your primary audience and primary target consumer or
my
customer?
primary audience or my avatar really is me. I'm looking for people who round about my age, 50 to 60, people who are in the final stages, or shall we say, for want of a better phrase, that are building up now to retirement. But at the moment, that 10, 15, even 5 years is miles away. Corporate burnout's really set in. Have they really done the right thing in life? Is it working for them? Do they have enough money saved up for retirement? What's retirement? What happens to the skills? What happens to the skill sets? People have developed all these skills over the last 40, 50 years of their lives. What's going to happen to them? Are they just going to be cast aside and put on the scrap heap of life? People who are approaching retirement are not finished if they don't want to be. They're struggling. They might be looking for something different. Well, I can help you make that transition. Working online is not a bad thing. It's not a bad option. Yeah, there are scammers out there. Yeah, there are. Yeah, it's not easy. But people fail online not because of lack of work or ethics. They fail online because they don't have the knowledge. They don't have the knowledge or the skills to operate online. My business I want to target is people who want to work online but don't know how to. They want to make that transition from 40, 30, 40, 50 years in industry onto having their own business and understand that working from home, you've got a PC and you're sat
These
in
are
your own
the
front room.
grandkids in the background.
Yeah. I told you to keep quiet for a while. You've got to have your working from home on a PC. You have access to 5.45 billion people throughout the world and from the
Exactly.
comfort of your own home. But you're not targeting every one of them. That's crazy. You're targeting just a small section of people that fit what your skill set is.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder and for sharing this. Moving on to the business aspect. Now I'm really interested to know more about your website. So and your offering, the elderpreneur.com. What are you offering? What is the business about? And how do you do
Okay.
it?
The very small course which is live at the moment is just basically covers three aspects of working online. And these are what I regard as being the central pillars of online business. My goal is to show people, give people the skills they need to work online, define their own niche, how to define their own niche, and then build a business around their skills, not mine. I don't want to. It's not a done for you program by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of hard work involved. There's a lot of written exercises involved. It's not just me going blah 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 blah. Off you go. No, I'll explain something, then I'll say to them, "There's a workbook provided. Do this exercise," and that's on every video. So the first one is defining your why. There is no point doing anything in life unless you have a reason for doing it. Like when I decided I was going to do my black belt, that was my why. So, but I'm not talking about the superficial why that people come up with. Oh, I want some more money, or I want a new car, or I want to go on holiday. No, that's not a why. Your why is something, and I don't know whether you've done this process. It's the 7 steps down. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible process. I was so annoyed and I got so emotional when I went through that.
Let's
You
call
had
it
your
uncomfortable, but not horrible.
yeah,
you will,
uncomfortable. Yeah, that's
you
probably
you will push people away with that
yeah.
horrible.
People are running for the hills now, aren't they? It's very uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable. You have to be 100% honest with yourself. You cannot go into this half-hearted. When you're defined as what your why is, and then you go to the next step and the next step and the next step and the next. By the time you're 5 or 6 steps into it, it's so as you say, uncomfortable. I tried it with my wife, and she got to 6 steps and slapped me. So I will leave it there. So that's the first one. That's the first video. Is all about that. The second one is mindset. Your why in your mindset. Mindset is vital. Once you believe you can do something, nothing will get in your way if you take positive action. So changing your mindset is necessary. An example of mindset is people have limiting beliefs. People have naturally built up barriers for themselves that they can't do something. How many times he said to someone, I get it all the time at the jiu-jitsu club, you'll show a kid a move and they'll say, oh, I can't do that. No, you can't. Not yet. But we're going to take it one step at a time. And many times he said to someone, oh, I can't do that. Or, if at the fairground, I'll probably miss. These are all limiting beliefs. These are what you're telling yourself. You're convincing yourself that you're going to fail to start with. An example of that is Roger Bannister. Scientists, honestly believe that the human body could not run a mile in under 4 minutes, and that if they did, your heart would burst and your lungs would burst and you'd fall in a heap on the floor in a big pile of nothingness and you'd just be a big blob dead. Well, it didn't, because when Roger Bannister broke the record in 3 minutes 58, the year after, 4 other people did it. Because that limiting belief had been taken away. Now you can't even get to the Olympics unless you can run a mile in 3.5 minutes,
Exactly.
So once you move limiting beliefs, and that's what I work on, is how to remove limiting beliefs. And that's the second pillar. And the third pillar is what we're doing today, your story. Your story is so vital. Again, you have to be honest and you have to show your vulnerability. You have to show people that they can do what you've done once they see that you've gone through it. They have to see you going through this. So you can't just say, oh yeah, my life's been great and I started this online business and everything's good, tick it off, right, I'm earning loads of money. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to show them that you've been right down in the gutter where they were or where they are.
Yeah.
And that, with the right attitude, the right guidance, and just sheer force of will, you can change. You can change and you can become what you want to be. You don't have to remain there. You don't have to be stood on the table like I were. You can just literally pivot and change your life in an instant. It's going to be a lot of hard work. It's not easy and there'll be a lot of heartache. There'll be a lot of failure. But at the end of the day, failure is part of success. You don't fail at something, you learn. You learn how to do something or how not to do something. So
100%.
that is my first course. That is the first one. The second course is just in the production stage and hopefully it'll be live in the next few weeks. And that is just taking everything a bit further. Now,
And that
you
is
told
how, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Coope at 63 years old is building all this platform, helping others. And yeah, I really love the story and what you're doing, Mark. I believe everyone that is listening to this podcast, we're not wrapping up. We still have 10 fire questions to go over real quickly. But I wanted to stop here and tell you that it's really moving and inspiring. And
thank you.
if like after everything that you went through and seeing what you have done, achieved, and overcame, and how you did it, and what you're doing right now, then anyone in their 20s, 30s, this should be like a walk in the park, right? But
Anybody.
it's all in the head and in the mind, and with the right help and aid, everyone should be able to reach their goals. Ready for 10 fire questions?
Yeah,
Let's do it. Retirement or entrepreneurship?
entrepreneurship.
Influential book, self-help or business strategy?
Oh, that's a good one. You got me on that one. I would say self-help, because once you sort yourself out, you can achieve anything you want.
Resilience or flexibility, which is the key to overcoming obstacles?
I would say resilience. You have to, if you keep hitting that obstacle long enough, you'll break through it.
Lead with empathy or authority?
No empathy. Empathy every time.
Critical skill for success, perseverance or innovation?
We work hand in hand them two, like
Pick
they all
one.
do. I think perseverance is good, because perseverance will create the solutions you need.
Preferred stress relief, physical exercise or meditation or visualization?
I prefer physical exercise. I like nothing better than either punching a punch bag, or throwing someone about.
If you had to switch industries today, tech or health and wellness?
I was tech, because
Okay.
I don't know, these are difficult questions.
Daily driver, meticulous planning or go with the flow?
No, meticulous planning. Set your daily goals. Have daily goals all the time. Go with the flow. You'll wander. You'll meander.
Investment in growth, time or money?
I think time. Time is the most valuable asset we have.
For inspiration, biographies or documentaries?
Oh, I love biographies.
And I love the answers. Thank you so much, Mark Coope, for being here and for sharing all of these valuable information, your story, your achievements, and what you are currently doing. It was a pleasure to host you on this podcast episode, and thank you for being transparent and vulnerable. And I really wish you all the best. We're going to be mentioning all your details in the description of the video for our listeners who are inspired by your journey and might want to connect with you or learn more about you. So it's on the elderpreneur.com and Facebook, right?
Yeah, my Facebook profile is facebook.com/Mark Coope online, and Coope is spelled Charlie Oscar Oscar Papa Echo.
I love that. Thank you so much, Mark. I wish you all the best, and we stay in touch.
Yeah, certainly, Carl. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on your show. You're a fantastic host, and thank you very much for chatting with me this morning.
Thanks so much. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.
And you. See you again. Bye now.